Science, first chapter, Nutrition in Plants. You know that there are so many nutrients present in our food. Last year, first chapter we have studied food, where does it come from? And second chapter, components of food. So you have learned that the food material contains certain nutrients which are needed for our body. So this year you will study what is nutrition. So what is the relationship between these nutrients and nutrition? Nutrition means the process of intake of food by an organism and its utilization by the body. You know, the food material contain the components needed for our body, that we call it as nutrients. And an organism they take nutrients into their body through the food, and in the body these material get utilized. That process is known as nutrition. So nutrition means the process of intake of food by an organism and its utilization by the body. So the process of intake of food by an organism and its utilization by the body is known as nutrition. So through the process of nutrition, different organisms take in food and they utilize it. But you know that here you can see plants and animals. Whether these two are same in this process of nutrition. You know that all living organisms require food. But from where they are getting food? You know, last year you have studied animals get food from plants, and plants prepare their own food. So animals and plants are different in their process of nutrition. How they are different? See, the green plants, these green plants can prepare their own food. You have studied it. What is that process called? Yes, photosynthesis. You have studied. Plants prepare their own food by a process called photosynthesis. So green plants can prepare their own food. So what they do, what type of nutrition is seen in them? They prepare their own food and they utilize their food. So such mode of nutrition we can call it as autotrophic mode of nutrition. So nutrition in plants are known as autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition. Why this word is autotrophic came? Autotrophic nutrition. What is, you might have heard the word auto. Some machines are automatic. Automatic machines we used to say. What is the meaning of auto? Automatic. Yes, that machine work its own. Auto means self. We need not operate it. It will work automatically when we switch on. That is auto. Auto means self. And another word, this is trophic. The word trophic came from another word known as trophos. Nourishment. What is nourishment? You might have heard the mother nourishes the child. Mother nourishes the child. Nourishes means to to provide food, to feed food. So auto nourishment. But this auto nourishment means the green plants prepare their own food. They make their own food and they utilize the food. Such mode of nutrition we call it as autotrophic mode of nutrition. So in the this is the type of nutrition seen in plants. Plants are autotrophs. Autotrophs means plants prepare their own food and they utilize the food. Such mode of nutrition is known as autotrophic mode of nutrition. And let us come to the animals. How animals get food? You can see these different animals here, herbivores. They eat plants directly, so they get plant food from plants and plant products. You know omnivores. Omnivores, what are omnivores? They take this food from plants as well as they eat some other animals also. You know all these are omnivores. So these are also heterotrophs, and carnivore depends upon other animals for food. So all these organisms you can see the dependence. Animals nutrition. What is the peculiarity of this animal nutrition? All animals are dependent. Animals depends plants and other animals for food. So they are called heterotrophs. So they are called heterotrophs. They are called heterotrophs. You have studied what is autotrophs. Here heterotrophs. Hetero means, what will be the meaning of hetero? Yes, others. Hetero. Hetero means others. Trophos, we have already seen. Trophos means nourishment. So autotrophs means they are preparing their plants, prepare their own food, and heterotrophs means yes, they depend others means other animals as well as plants for food. Such a mode of nutrition is called heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And in this chapter we are going to discuss nutrition in plants. So we have seen that green plants can prepare their own food and how they can prepare their food. This is by a process called photosynthesis. Green plants prepare their own food by a process called photosynthesis. You have studied it in lower class. What is photosynthesis? Photo means, what is the meaning of photo? Photo means light, and synthesize. You might have heard the word synthesize. What is synthesize? To prepare. Synthesize means to prepare. In the presence of sunlight or any light, the presence of light, green plants prepare their own food. That is why this process is known as photosynthesis. You know that the plant's leaf is green in color. You have studied in lower classes. This green color is due to the presence of a pigment called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is green color, you know. So all green plants can prepare food because of this presence of the chlorophyll pigment in them. So it is this chlorophyll where the photosynthesis, the process of photosynthesis take place. So you know that the leaf is known as, yes, the food making factory of a plant. What are the conditions needed for photosynthesis? For photosynthesis, you you know that for the process of photosynthesis, you have seen certain conditions are required. One is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a must, and you have seen light is another important factor. Water, they require water, and you have studied these green plants. They take up, yes, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for photosynthesis. So these are the four requirements for photosynthesis, four conditions for photosynthesis. Only if these four these requirements are present, then only green plants can prepare food by the process of photosynthesis. Here light means sunlight. Okay, in the presence of any other light also there is a photosynthesis take place. Now let us see the structure of leaf. You know that all the body of living organisms are made up of cells. So in the plant also, the leaf also contain different type of cells. So how to see the cells? Take a leaf and add a thermocol, isn't it? And in this thermocol you can cut. This half the portion you can cut, isn't it? And inside that you can insert a leaf. A leaf can be inserted through that cut. Okay, by using sharp blade you take sections. You have to take very thin sections, and if you take sections like that, this thermocol piece, and it is inside there is a leaf, isn't it? And you are taking sections like this. If you take sections, you will get small pieces of leaf also. Along with the thermocol get cut, and along with that you will get small pieces of leaf also with it. The section must be very thin, and if you observe that thin section of leaf under microscope, you can see here the structure of leaf. You can see here the different, you see the leaf contain different cells. You can see here the different cells present in the leaf. So many cells are seen, and another type of leaf, monocot and dicot, you have studied. So you can see here somewhat clear, isn't it? So this portion, this red colored portion is the veins, leaf contain veins, leaf veins. So there is this one that we need not require now. We are studying this portion. In your textbook you can see this much portion only, and I have drawn it in the board, green board. You can see here this structure of leaf. You can see this the top. You can see the cells arranged like bricks, and which contain chlorophyll. These dots, dots what I have drawn is nothing but this chlorophyll. All these are green colored. This green color is because of this green color pigment. This pigment, these dots, these are called chloroplast actually, and inside the chloroplast, chlorophyll is present. Chlorophyll. You have to study the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll means these green color pigments needed for photosynthesis. So structure, this is the structure of leaf, and this outermost layer you have studied the waxy coating last year. You have studied leaf surface is covered with a waxy coating, so that sunlight get reflected. You have studied it, isn't it? So that's waxy coating, that is called a cuticle, and the outermost layer of cell, that is called epidermis. You will study in iron class. Then palisade tissue is there. Palisade tissue, mesophyll tissue, and the lower epidermis. This is the uppermost layer, and this is the lowermost layer, isn't it? And the most important things regarding the structure of leaf that you have to note is the presence of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. And another important structure you can see here, this structure. This structure is known as stomata. This is known as stomata. What is stomata? Stomata means you have studied the plants leaf containing certain pores, certain holes are present. You have studied this leaf absorb or take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through certain pores or the holes present at the lower epidermis, lower surface of the leaf. The lower surface of the leaf, there are so many pores. So these are nothing but, if you draw the structure of a leaf, you can see the lower surface. I am drawing the lower surface, this surface. Okay, here so many pores are present. These pores are known as, these are the pores which you can see its cellular structure. If you observe under microscope, you can see these pores like this, and these pores are known as the stomata. Okay, and there's this pore is called stoma. This pore is called stoma, and the opening and closing of this is the stoma. Okay, this is stoma. I have drawn this structure. This structure, if you draw a large portion, if you draw like this portion, if you draw a large, you will get a structure like this. This is also important. Structure of this is the structure of stomata. Stomata is plural, stoma is singular, and this is the structure of leaf. This is the structure of leaf. Structure of leaf. Okay, structure of leaf. And in the structure, you can see this stomata. You can see. So this is very important. This opening. This is an opening. This opening is called stoma. The opening is called stoma. And how this opening? It is the opening and closing of stomata. It is done by guard cell. Guard cell. So there are two cells here. So these are guard cells. What is the meaning of guard? Yes, you know, security guard, you know. Just the same function only these cells do. That is, what is that? They controls the opening and closing of stoma. And this opening is called stoma. And it is through this opening that carbon dioxide enters from the atmosphere. So carbon dioxide, CO2. CO2 means carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is taken in for photosynthesis through these pores. And you know that during photosynthesis, another gas gets released down. What is that? Oxygen. The oxygen is released and carbon dioxide is taken in through stoma. Okay, and last year you have studied from the leaves, water gets lost in the form of water vapor. That process is known as, yes, transpiration. So transpiration also takes place in the stoma, isn't it? So this is about the structure of leaf. And let us come to photosynthesis once again. So photosynthesis takes place in the leaf, and how this process takes place. The green plants utilizes carbon dioxide and water, and in the presence of sunlight for the process of photosynthesis, energy is required. This energy plants absorb from sunlight. Okay, and while growing these cells, you will be very careful. It is not just like these zeros. You have to grow cells. Plant cell is actually hexagonal shape, the form of hexagon. So when the plant cell is formed, it will be in the form of hexagon only. So it is the structure. But when a plant, this after some times what happens, the slight change happen. This hexagon cells, this corner you have to round off. Corner you just round off. Okay, like that you draw the cells. This structure of cells, this structure of leaf you can draw like this. Okay, this hexagon, and here the corner you can round. Such cells you draw here. Clear? So that's about the structure of leaf. Let us go to photosynthesis in detail. conditions other this carbon dioxide and water are combined during photosynthesis. Sunlight and so carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, plants prepare food and release oxygen. This food is nothing but carbohydrates. This food is called carbohydrate. So this is the equation for photosynthesis. This is during photosynthesis, green plants utilizes this carbon dioxide and water. This carbon dioxide and water are smaller molecules. They are smaller molecules or simple molecules. Simple molecules. You know, carbon dioxide we usually write CO2. What is CO2? One carbon atom and two oxygen atom. So only three atoms are the very simple molecule it is. Water is also like that. What is water? Water means H2O. H2O means one oxygen and two hydrogen atoms. So these are also very simple molecule. Carbon dioxide and water are simple molecules, and these two they combine to form the food molecule, that is carbohydrate. The simplest carbohydrate is known as glucose. Actually, when there is a product of photosynthesis is a carbohydrate, the first product is known as glucose. Here the product formed is glucose. Glucose is a carbohydrate, and see, glucose is somewhat complex molecule. Here you have seen carbon dioxide is CO2, water is H2O, but the glucose molecule is C6H12O6. What is the meaning of that? One glucose molecule contains 6 carbon atom, 12 hydrogen atom, and 6 oxygen atom. So this is somewhat bigger molecules. So during photosynthesis, green plants assimilate or combine smaller molecules and they prepare complex molecules. So this is somewhat complex. So complex molecules are prepared from simpler molecules. That process is known as this synthesis. Synthesis means to combine or to prepare. Isn't it? So photosynthesis, during photosynthesis, green plants utilizes simpler molecules and they combine the simpler molecules and they produce complex molecules. These complex molecules are carbohydrate, and the simplest one, the first the plants produce glucose. All of you are interested in glucose, no? Because it is very sweet in taste. And so they are soluble in water. So the glucose molecule as such plants cannot store in the leaf because the glucose molecule. So first plants prepare glucose only by using carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. In the chlorophyll, the green plants prepare glucose, and this glucose is soluble in water. You know, leaf contain water inside. So this glucose molecule gets scattered in the leaf. So in order to store glucose, plants has to convert these glucose molecules into something which is insoluble form. So plants convert this glucose into insoluble form, and that is called starch. So plants convert these into starch. They convert this glucose molecule into starch. Last year you have studied starch. Yes, rice and potato all contain starch. One test also we have conducted. You may be remembering it. This starch is insoluble in water. Starch is insoluble in water. So green plants prepare this glucose molecule, and very soon this glucose molecule get converted into starch. How starch are produced? The starch molecules are produced by combining thousands of glucose molecules, thousands of glucose molecules combined to form in the form of a chain. You will study in higher class. Thousands of glucose molecules combined to form very complex molecule called starch. Starch is insoluble in water because it is a longer chain of glucose molecule. That is why they are insoluble in water. So, in the form of starch, green plants store food. And where do they store this starch? They store starch in the leaf, in the root, stem, fruits, seeds, etc. So, different parts of the plant this starch store. Carbohydrate, starch is also a carbohydrate. What is the meaning of carbohydrate? Carbohydrate means compounds of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Compounds of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are known as carbohydrate. Glucose is the simplest carbohydrate. Plants convert this glucose molecule into starch and they store in the different parts of the plant like stem, root, fruits, seeds, etc. So all these different parts of plants contain stored food. It is the food of all animals, isn't it? So this is the process of photosynthesis. And you may be wondering, there are some plants there you can see it is a leaf of a croton. This croton, leaf of croton, you can see different colors, isn't it? So whether this leaf can prepare food. Yes, if you observe the leaf very carefully, you can see green colors in it. So this plant contains this leaf, all the leaf, red amaranthus we use. Okay, and that red leaf also contains chlorophyll in it. In addition to chlorophyll, the leaf contains some other pigments also. Green colored pigments are called chlorophyll, and some other pigments are the xanthophyll pigments are the carotenes. Okay, anthocyanin. So many the leaf contains so many other type of pigments also. See, this leaf is you can see different colors here. The leaf you can see different colors. You may feel that this leaf do not contain any chlorophyll in it. Let us test whether the leaf contains chlorophyll or not. Simply, you take a piece of leaf. I have taken a piece of leaf and a white sheet of paper, and in this paper strip, you just squeeze it and apply this one. See. You can see here what's the color. You can see the color, green color you can see. So all the red color or yellow color or any other colored leaf, you can see the presence of chlorophyll in it. Different colored leaf can also prepare food by the process of photosynthesis. Let us discuss the equation for photosynthesis. So let us learn the chemical equation for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide, CO2. So during this photosynthesis, there is 6 carbon dioxide containing 6 water molecules, 6 H2O. In the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, plants prepare glucose and oxygen. So this is product of photosynthesis, glucose. It is the product of photosynthesis. Product of photosynthesis is a carbohydrate named glucose, and during photosynthesis another product gets produced, that is oxygen. This is oxygen. Oxygen we can say byproducts. Actually plants are preparing glucose, but while preparing glucose, oxygen is also released. Why I have written this equation? Only to make you understand that how this oxygen is produced. Carbon dioxide and water both contain oxygen. So here it contains lesser, glucose contain lesser amount of oxygen only. But here carbon dioxide and water both contain oxygen. So more amount of oxygen is present in both compound contain oxygen. So that much oxygen is not needed for the production of carbohydrate. So the excess of oxygen is released during photosynthesis. That is how we are getting oxygen, isn't it? So oxygen is produced during photosynthesis. So here this process takes place in the presence of sunlight. What is the importance of sunlight? Energy is needed for this process, and this energy they take from the sunlight. So energy present in the sunlight is captured during the process of photosynthesis, and by comparing this energy is called sunlight energy, that is solar energy. Solar energy is converted into chemical energy. So during photosynthesis, what energy change take place? You know, sunlight contains solar energy. That energy is utilized for the chemical process. These two are combining. Okay, that is chemical reaction is taking place. So for this process of photosynthesis, energy is required. That is solar energy. This solar energy is converted into chemical energy. So in here, this glucose molecule contain energy. You know, it is a rich source of energy. So that energy is nothing but the energy present in the sunlight, which during photosynthesis plants store energy in the form of chemical energy. So solar energy, sunlight get converted into chemical energy. That is the energy change that take place during photosynthesis. So you have seen nutrition in plants, autotrophic nutrition in plants, but some plants there are some other modes of nutrition are also present, and other modes of nutrition seen in plants which we discuss in the next class. Thank you.